to the Prophecy Club. If my mom were to call me and say, son, what's going on in the world? I would say our world is about to change. And if Alfredo Perez, the one that had the dream that DJT came to him and said that the shotgun start is going to start in 15 days and was told that on July the 6th, if that comes to pass, and he is not a prophet, he is just a congregation member, he's only had one other dream that come to pass, so probably you shouldn't count on it. I'll say it this way, don't even listen to it, don't even believe it. But on the other hand, since I know him, I know his wife and his children, they're congregation members, I think there's a good possibility he was hearing from God, and I think that this good possibility that this shotgun start is about to hit in 15 days, which would put it on or about July 21 or 22 of 2021. Now, am I setting a date, and is he setting a date? No. But I do think it's something to put on the shelf and watch. It's something to be aware of, and it's something to say, so if something does happen on or about or around July 21 or 22, 2021, are we ready? So let's talk about what might be happening. 10/7/2020. So this is an old article, but it speaks of future things. It's called QFS Ousts Fraudulent Monetary System. You can find it at finalwakeupcall.info, which I do not recommend. There's some things on there that, again, I just do not recommend. My good friend once said even a blind hog can root up an ear of corn every once in a while, meaning sometimes people that have some misunderstandings every once in a while can run across truth. And in the mouth of two or three witnesses, let a thing be established. So before I read this article, let me give you a scenario to help us all understand this. So let's say Johnny B. Banker sells a car owned by and sitting on the lot of the local Cadillac dealer to Bob Farmer. The problem is Johnny Banker is not a Cadillac dealer, does not even own any cars. But Bob Farmer buys this car with cash in an agreement to get a free and clear title. Then Bob Farmer takes that title to a bank and he borrows 100% against the value of that car, and he borrows it at 10% interest. Then he takes the title over to another bank, and another bank, and does it the total of 10 times. So what Bob doesn't know is John Banker actually owns all 10 of those banks. So now Johnny Banker not only made 100% on a car he does not even own, he's also making 100% interest each month on selling a car he doesn't even own. So that's 10 loans times 10% interest, so he's making 100% a month, plus he made 100% on a car he doesn't even own. That's the way, it's a kind of a crude example, but that's the way the banking system today is working. It's called the SWIFT system. Now, let's go back to QFS Ousts Fraudulent Money System. The banking system is a fantastic business, he says. They lend out money they don't even have. They charge the lender interest on it and add it to the fractional reserve lending that allows the banks to lend 10 times more than they have on deposit. In other words, they lend, quote, money that they don't have, doesn't exist, properly called credit or debt money, with interest charges attached. So they're lending money they don't have, they're making interest on money they don't have. It's a fraudulent system. Under this fraudulent monetary system, debt in real terms becomes impossible to repay. Now, let me tell you where we're going with the broadcast. We're talking about our entire financial system is about to change. Now, what do I know about the shotgun start? I'm going to tell you, if I did know, I couldn't say it. But I think it's fair to say that we need to assume some big things are about to happen real soon. As you recall, Mike Lindell of My Pillow, quite close to DJT, said that by August, now I assume that's the end of August, DJT is going to be back in charge. So if that's true, we're looking at something big about to happen. Okay, back to the article. Fake money rewards the special interest cliques most closely associated with money managers such as the deep state, banking industry, military-industrial complex, Wall Street, and many other beneficiaries of government spending. Unfair distribution of wealth is a characteristic of a fiat. Now, fiat means fraudulent. It means that you're selling balloons full of hot air rather than cars, okay? Is a characteristic of a fiat monetary system and is being witnessed today in its extreme. The three richest people on earth own more than the bottom 60% of the world's population. Fiat money dislikes morality and thus creates an immoral society. Now, hear that word, immoral society. It requires the rejection of a convertible commodity standard and can only be enforced with powerful legal tender laws. Now, let's listen to what the prophet says. This is Neville Johnson, said by him in 2014. He used to live in Australia, gone to be with the Lord now. Then the vision opened up in front of me, where I saw an angel standing and held what appeared to be a very fragile, large, ornate cup and saucer. This cup was very thin and fragile. Written on the cup were the words, "The nation's economies." Then I was able to see inside the cup, and it was filthy. The angel said, "The economies of the world are like this cup, clean on the outside, but filthy on the inside." I then heard a crack, and the cup began to crack and quickly fell apart into pieces. Now, what's he saying? He's saying that our world financial system right now is corrupt. It looks okay on the outside, but it's corrupt on the inside. But he's saying, this is the angel talking to him, that it's about to fall to pieces. That's what we're talking about today. The scene changed. Then the angel was holding up a large man upside down by his leg. He began shaking the man violently up and down. All kinds of things began falling out of the man's pockets: gold, silver, inventions, also energy inventions, certain cures for Alzheimer's, asthma, all kinds of diseases. They'd been hidden by the pharmaceutical companies. This giant represented the world and the financial systems of this world. Are you listening? What it's saying is that when we come into what I'm going to call, and what I believe the Bible calls, this new world order, at first it will be good. We're going to see a lot of changes. We're about to talk about those changes. He went on to say, as I watched this unfold, the angel shouted the words, "Shake, exposure, transfer." As he said this, I felt the earth underneath me shake like a tremor. I heard the voice of the Lord say, "One more time, I will shake the heavens and the earth." It's saying that we're coming into a new financial system, and as we come into that new financial system, and a lot of the corruption, a lot of these evil Moloch and Baal worshipers are rounded up and taken out of that system, that apparently there's going to be a lot of good come forth. Now, understand that there's also been some very, very bad things prophesied. So what it's saying is, when you get a prophecy that's a good prophecy from someone you know that's hearing from God, and then you get another prophecy that's a bad prophecy from someone you also know is hearing from God, okay, instead of saying, well, I'm going to believe this one, I'm not going to believe that one, or this one's hearing from God, that one's a false prophet. What if both are really hearing from God? What if it's saying to America specifically and to the world in general, you have a choice. You can go to the left, you can go down to JB and down to the communism and down the way of Nancy P. and filth and corruption, or you can turn around, humble yourself and pray and seek my face and turn from your wicked ways. I'll hear from heaven, forgive your sins and heal your land, and be given some more time, some more years. I want to believe that America is going to choose to go to the right. Now, back to the article. Economic bubbles are the monsters birthed by fiat currencies. Again, fiat is worthless. Central bank manipulation of the money supply and interest rates. A fiat currency eliminates a definable unit of accounting. No, I'm not going to read all of this because it sounds too... I'm not an economist, and this is kind of above my head, too. It's the reason I got to kind of break it down where we can understand it. But there's some important things here that we need to know. A definable unit of accounting, which is needed for sound economic calculation. Most importantly, the central bank global financial debt system is being brought to, listen, to the point of deflation, which will force the deep state to relinquish their global control. The fiat financial system will be replaced by local currencies, i.e., gold-backed sovereign money units run on the QFS. That's the Quantum Financial System. This will be the foundation for the post-fiat GESARA, spelled Gesara. Go look it up and research it. GESARA world. Recovering from the damage caused by the fiat currencies will prove to be much more difficult. Now, that could be some of the people start fighting against the government. Much more difficult than rejecting the temptation to initiate a fiat currency as unit of account in the first place. Honest money is the essential ally of liberty. Precious metals must and will return to serve as the foundation for the new QFS system, meaning between the old SWIFT system of fiat worthless money, paper money, and going to the new QFS system, all gold-backed or asset-backed digital money, there's probably going to be, this is what he's really saying, a time when it's going to be very healthy and handy to have gold and silver and things like that. Now, let me give you a disclaimer. This is not a financial advice ministry. We are a Bible prophecy ministry, and I'm not giving you financial advice. I will remind you that Shane Warren said, the audible voice of God said that silver is going to skyrocket far more than gold. And I'll also point you that if you are thinking about getting some kind of precious metal, then my suggestion would be that you call cornerstoneassetmetals.com as they help your prophecy club. And of course, that's a good thing. Back to the article. Worldwide, people are waking up to the fact that the current economic system of fiat debt money is unsustainable. Now, let's pause a second. Do you remember back in 2008? Reportedly, what was happening is it was a whole lot worse than what we were told by the news. Apparently, the whole world's financial system was about to go belly up. I mean, the whole world financial system. But there was a group of people, and I can't talk too much about that stepped forward and they raised their hand. They said, I'll save the day. I'll fix it. Well, this is a part of that fix that I can't talk about. Yes, I know some things I can't talk about, but I can read what others have said that from other sources I just happen to know are accurate and true. So this fiat debt money is unsustainable, and banksters are quietly and secretly preparing for the worst. Yes, in other words, they know that the massive arrests have already been taking place, and they're about to go public. Governments will do what they always do in financial crises. They were going to protect the insiders and those close to the deep state. Only in this case, it's going to be the deep state that's going to be arrested. Average middle-class systems are already suffering from the corrupt monetary system and are scrambling to find the best way to protect their wealth and ensure their safety in these challenging times. The unwinding of history's largest financial fraud and greatest bubble is now upon us. People must understand that they are living with a criminal and totally unfair privately owned central banking system with their government in cooperation. So, it is vital that all private central banks are abolished at all costs and that legislation is enacted to ensure no such bank in the future is ever to be established again. The plan is not only to go after the shadow government and the deep state, which we call Moloch and Baal worshippers, but to go after the source of their funding that has made it possible for them to do what they do, meaning print easy money, promote corruption. In short, the Rothschilds control central banks, print money out of thin air, governments borrow and force taxpayers to fund this Ponzi scheme. Now, this is important. Central banks are not tied to checks and balances and audits, so they're simply able to do whatever they want to do. They have been applying fraudulent accounting practices that don't account for the money that they've created and that the Fed is continually doing wrong, insinuating that if the economy weakens and fails, it will be the central banks to blame. This has put the financial system in a situation with many fingers in the dike, and it isn't known in advance which one finger is going to be removed that might cause the dike to give way. But it does look more certain that the end of the U.S. reserve dollar hegemony is in sight. Two of the main questions at this point are, when does it end? And when does the real panic begin? Okay, now let me refresh your memory. 7/6/2021, Alfredo Perez had the dream. DJT came to him and said the shotgun start will be in 15 days. Again, I'm not setting any dates, and neither is he. However, I think it is something to watch at this point. We're going to leave it on the shelf, but let's watch it. So, what is it? What could it be? Well, my correct and full answer is I don't really know, and neither does he. However, we have to ask ourselves, is this the start of the quantum financial system? The New World Order? Massive arrests? Public announcements of those arrests? The start of the internal revolution? Or maybe nothing? At this point, we have to say it's nothing, just a date to watch. But it's a good date to watch. It also might be a date to make sure that you're ready for the prophecies, the bad prophecies that might start. In other words, like if you don't have anything to protect your digital equipment, EMPShield.com with the promo code prophecy might be a good place to visit. Or if you need some kind of food, heavensharvest.com, promo code STAN. If you need some kind of precious metals, cornerstoneassetmetals.com. All of those might be some good places to visit. Remember the threes. You can only go 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 30 days without food, and are you ready for a 3-month lockdown? Maybe not be able to leave your house. So if we're not, then now's the time to redouble our efforts and make sure we're ready. Back to the article. Again, we're not giving any financial advice on the program. This is a program on Bible prophecy. Back to the article. When President Trump finally implements Cassara law, the Federal Reserve Central Bank and IRS will officially be defunct. Income taxes will be abolished and replaced with a sales tax on non-essential items. The new monetary system known as the quantum financial system will end the cabal, there you go, that's the Moloch and the Baal worshippers, end the cabal's corruption, usury, and manipulation within the banking industry. The QFS is ready for its implementation. This new QFS is set to run on a quantum computer. Now, remember quantum computer. If you turn on your garden hose full blast, and that water coming out represents the fastest computer that humans can make. Compare that to the amount of water coming over Niagara Falls, and that's how much faster a quantum computer is than anything the humans can make. It's unbelievably fast. Set to run on a quantum computer that is based on an orbiting satellite system and is protected by secret space programs to ensure that it cannot be hacked. Cannot be hacked. In other words, so that when they turn off your particular account, so that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. Meaning, if your money is all in the QFS system, and when the time comes when you don't take the mark of the beast, you can't access that, it will give them the control to turn off anybody's ability to buy and sell, just like Revelation 13 says. The quantum technology that corresponds to this new system is being provided by benevolent galactics. I like the way he says that. What we call them is demons or aliens. Anything that comes out of a metal flying disc is not God. God's angels do not need any kind of metal objects to help them fly through time and space. They have bodies that can do that already. They don't need some kind of technology. That's the demons. We know that. We understand that. We're watching for that. Which, by the way, I can't say this is thus saith the Lord. So let me word this correctly. So I was praying about these med beds that can reportedly heal just about anything. I got a big yawn, and then he spoke to my heart, and he said, absolutely, positively. Now, again, I didn't hear any words, but God can speak to our heart in different ways. I mean, it doesn't always have to be an angel visit or a dream or a vision or something like that. As a matter of fact, Prophet Leslie says the best way God speaks to us is simply speaks to our heart. In other words, just impressions. So I'll say it that way. I was impressed that I should not ever get into a med bed, and I was impressed that it will change my DNA. And if my DNA is changed, it changed to the serpent's seed, and I will lose my salvation. So I'm not getting in a med bed. Besides that, my objective is not to live a long time. My objective is to win lots of souls. So it's protected by a secret space program to ensure it cannot be hacked. The quantum technology corresponds to this new system by being provided by benevolent galactics. The key is to implement limitations that will prevent corrupted banksters from gaining significant profits. Crooked banksters are no longer in charge of any funds within the QFS. Paper money in banks will eventually disappear, though coinage will remain as a safeguard against the corruption, and the populace will prosper. All cabal assets are to be seized by the Alliance and redistributed to benefit humanity. The Alliance is trying to determine the optimal time to release this thing. Okay, and so I'm wondering if July 21, 22, 2021 might be that time. Now, am I saying that? No, I don't know. Okay, I'm just saying I'm watching it. This optimal time for the release is quickly approaching as all the dominoes steadily fall into place, revealing the great picture. Meanwhile, it has evolved beyond a simple revaluation of currencies and is not going to be done the way it was originally imagined. Now, it is going to be handled through the quantum financial system, and it is currently setting up accounts for each and every human on Earth. Compensation funds will be given to every human being. Everything the cabal has stolen will be directly deposited into individual QFS accounts. The quantum financial system is going to be explained after the full disclosure event as the enactment of the GSARA, which stands for Global Economic Security and Reformation Act, is announced. Assets will be connected to a true algorithm that predicts actual prices based upon production and demand, ending the market rigging. The QFS is going to be enacted with a gold standard, debt elimination, a flat tax on new goods only, the elimination of all income tax, the elimination of government-subsidized pharmaceutical drug pushers. Now, as a confirmation, again, the Bible says, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let a thing be established. As a confirmation, July 12, 2021, BenjaminFulford.net, headline, Great Victory for Humanity as European Royals Reject Rothschilds. He says major developments have been taking place behind the scenes recently as both the British Royals and the P3 Freemasons have declared war against the Rothschilds family and the Swiss-based Octagon Group, MI6 and P3 sources say. That's the Moloch and the Baal worshippers. Now, I'm skipping 3 paragraphs. This means for the first time in about 200 years, the UK is free from Rothschild family rule. This is because the Rothschild family has been intimately intertwined with the Saxe-Coburg-Goth royals since before the Napoleonic Wars. The founder of the Rothschild banking clan, Mayor Amschel Rothschild, got his big break by lending money to support Saxe-Coburg-Goth wars. His son, Nathaniel, famously took over the Bank of England via clever insider trading based upon knowledge Napoleon had lost the Battle of Waterloo, which, in fact, he had won. While England may be free for the first time in 200 years since the Rothschilds claimed to be descended from the Babylonian tyrant Hammurabi, soon the Jewish people may be free for the first time in 3,793 years, skipping more paragraphs. A message from the ruling body of the P3 and the Black Sun organization sent last week says, they now have the support of Russia, China, NATO, and the Pentagon to start, listen to this, Nuremberg war crimes tribunals against the anti-V people. You know what I'm saying? There's the V and then there's the anti-V. We asked about the Pentagon, and they said, yes, don't worry, VFRNs. These are the controllers of the military-industrial complex. The world is in an undeclared state of war now, skipping again. It is now certain that the Rothschild, Rockefeller, Khazarian Mafia Group will have the control of the world's central banks and the Fortune 500 companies completely taken away from them. In other words, what they're saying is not only are the massive arrests about to take place and people rounded up and justice served, but there's about to be a new financial system and there's about to be amazing technologies released that have been hidden. Let's go on. What is yet to be determined is exactly what will replace their rule. However, the following Nassar-Gassar proposals give a hint as to what to expect. Listen to this. Zero out all credit card, mortgage, and other bank debt due to illegal banking and government activities, abolish the income tax, abolish the IRS. Employees of the IRS will be transferred into the U.S. Treasury National Sales Tax area, return constitutional law to all courts and legal matters, monitor elections and prevent illegal election activities of special interest groups, forbid the sale of American birth certificate records as chattel property bonds by the U.S. Department of Transportation, initiate new U.S. Treasury bank system in alignment with constitutional law, cease all aggressive U.S. government military actions around the world, establish peace through the world, release enormous sums of money for humanitarian purposes, enable the release, here it is, of over 6,000 patents of suppressed technologies that are being withheld from the public under the guise of national security, including free energy devices, anti-gravity, sonic healing machines. These U.S.-based proposals will be a central point of negotiations with the Dragon family due to start this autumn. Now remember the prophecy that said the man upside down and all kinds of things were shaken out of his pockets. Skipping again. In any case, these secret negotiations have already resulted in very visible changes in the world. This is especially true for the U.S. military, who are openly ending their support of Khazarian mafia wars, with the sudden withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan last week as most obvious. If my mom were to call and say, "What's going on, son?" I would say, I think we're about to step into a new world order. We're about to step into a new world. The question is whether it's going to go to the left toward communism, or whether it's going to go to the right toward righteousness, Christianity, and a lot of blessings. In 2017, God helped me to memorize the book of Revelation and gave me 30 revelations, 2 visions, and an audible voice. God showed me the word first fruits is a secret door linking the feasts of Leviticus to the prophecies of Revelation. For the first time, the end-time prophecies of Revelation can be placed in correct chronological order. One prophetic word said, "There is a lock I put over a word in the book of Revelation. I'm going to open unto you. It will turn many books written on the end-time message into obsolete books." That's this book. It's called The Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy. So what if you had to tell a person the most important thing in the world, but you knew they're probably not going to believe you? Well, if you're listening to this, I believe you'd probably still tell them. Well, the most important thing to do is to receive Jesus. But the most important information is to not take the mark of the beast, because those people taking the mark of the beast do not get soul death, but they're tossed into eternal torment in hell without any possibility of escape. We put it into a book, Miss the Mark, Don't Take the Mark of the Beast, a simple book to give to people. If they read, they will never take the mark of the beast. Countless people are believing that they're not going to see any trouble of the tribulation. They're going to go in a rapture, which is a misunderstanding. So God had me write a book called How Pre-Trib Won. It explains how the Christian church was so snookered into believing a misunderstanding like this, and it helps them through scriptures to see the truth that there is not going to be a pre-trib, mid-trib, or pre-wrath rapture. No one is going any place to escape any testing. It's called How Pre-Trib Won. Then, the book of Daniel, most people agree, is probably the most difficult book in the Bible to understand. So I wrote a book called Tribulation Secrets in Daniel, which gives this last generation the explanation and the parts of Daniel that they need to endure the tribulation. Pure and simple, it takes Daniel and makes it easy to understand. It's called Tribulation Secrets in Daniel. As you know, many of the broadcasts have referred to a list of dreams, visions, and audible voices from people like Dimitri Duduman, Michael Boldea, Leslie Johnson, Henry Gruver, and others. We put together a special radio offer. You can get 10 How Pre-Trib Won, 10 Tribulation Secrets in Daniel, 10 Miss the Mark, 5 Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy, 5 God's Warnings to America, totaling 40 books valued at $800 for a gift of just $100 at prophecyclub.com. That's 40 books valued at $800 for a gift of just $100 at prophecyclub.com. prophecyclub.com. CornerstoneAssetMetals.com is owned by a prophecy student who reads his King James Bible and supports Prophecy Club. Call CornerstoneAssetMetals.com for gold, silver, palladium, rhodium bars, or coins that can help you roll over your IRA, 401k. So tell CornerstoneAssetMetals.com Prophecy Club sent you. click like, share, subscribe, and send to a friend.